Making headlines this hour, President expresses his confidence that Canada would continue to thrive under newly appointed Prime Minister Carney. President declares additional government holidays for Eid al-Fitr. President's family announces intention to pursue charges over the endangerment, harassment and bullying of his children led by MDP.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM English News. My name is Abdullah Ahil and now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu expresses his confidence that Canada would continue to thrive under the leadership of its newly appointed Prime Minister Mark Joseph Carney. He made the remark in a congratulatory message sent following Prime Minister Carney's assumption of office. In his message sent on behalf of the government and the people of Maldives, President Muizzu expressed optimism for Canada's stability and prosperity under Prime Minister Carney's leadership. He also conveyed his personal best wishes for the Prime Minister's success, good health and well-being, and for the continued peace and progress of the people of Canada. Ex-central banker Mark Carney was formally sworn in as Prime Minister of Canada on March 14th. Putting him in a position to fight tariffs from U.S. President Donald Trump that could devastate the trade-dependent Canadian economy. In the presence of Governor General Mary Simon, the personal representative of King Charles, who is Canada's head of state, Carney took the oath of office. He reshaped his cabinet with a view to dealing with Washington and cut several ministerial positions that he inherited from his predecessor, Justin Trudeau. Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc is moving to the international trade portfolio and will be replaced by current Innovation Minister François-Philippe Champagne. Foreign Minister Melanie Joly stays in her post. Former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, whose shock resignation last December triggered a crisis that helped push out Trudeau, becomes Transport Minister. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu declares additional government holidays for Eid al-Fitr. The President's office said if the Ministry of Islamic Affairs announces 1 Shawwal 1446 falls on Monday, the 31st of March as per the calendar, the government holidays for Eid will include the 31st of March, the 1st and the 2nd, as well as the 3rd of April. If, as per the ministry, the 1st of Shawwal falls on Sunday, the 30th of March, the government holidays will be observed from the 30th of March to the 3rd of April. The President's decision was made to ensure that employees can enjoy uninterrupted holidays and spend more time with their families during Eid al-Fitr. Government offices will reopen on Sunday, the 6th of April 2025, after Eid holidays. Therefore, including the last 10 days of Ramadan, government offices will be closed for a total of 15 days. According to the government, its offices will be closed for the last 10 days of Ramadan, beginning Thursday, the 20th of March. The decision follows a directive issued by the President's office on the 4th of February 2024, which designates the final 10 days of each Ramadan, starting from 1445, as official government holidays. The move aims to uphold Islamic principles, promote appreciation for Islamic values, and prioritize acts of worship. President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's family announces their intention to pursue civil charges over the endangerment, harassment, and bullying of his children, led by the main opposition, Maldivian Democratic Party, or MDP.
The incident in question transpired on 12th March when a member of the MDP employed harmful and abusive language towards the first son while speaking during the demonstration. During the rally, Mariam Zubair accused the president of banning vape products in the Maldives because his son was caught vaping. The first son has since faced a barrage of abuse and threats on social media. First Lady Sajida Muhammad, in a statement, vehemently denied the accusations, adding that such baseless allegations had endangered the life of her son and undermined his future. In the statement, the First Lady insisted that she had never spoken up or defended the policies or decisions of her husband in his capacity as a president. However, First Lady Sajida said as a mother she cannot stand idly by when her underage children are berated, harassed and bullied by political rivals, endangering their lives while undermining their safety and dignity. Former Attorney General Aishat Azima Shakur, who is the family lawyer, told reporters that the first family will be seeking civil charges against Mariam Zubair, MDP, and its chairman Fayaz Ismail. She said the legal team believes that MDP is legally liable as the incident occurred during a rally organized by the party. She added that civil charges against Fayaz are being pursued because he had defended and encouraged more hate against the first son in a post on X. Despite the criminal nature of the incident, Azima said the first family will only pursue civil charges as the criminal investigation and subsequent criminal charges remain under the mandate of the relevant authorities. The Human Rights Commission of the Maldives, HRCM, and the Elections Commissions of Maldives, ECM, meanwhile had separately issued admonitions to MDP to desist from actions that could potentially harm children, underscoring that such actions do not fall under the purview of freedom of expression.
Vice President Hussein Mohammad Latif issues an urgent appeal for the preservation of societal harmony, warning that entrenched hostility and animosity threaten the nation's social fabric. In a statement shared on social media, he called on citizens to safeguard the community's shared destiny and moral values.
Expanding on this plea, Vice President Latif stressed the divisive nature of discord between individuals and groups, cautioning that such tensions undermine the cohesion essential for the harmonious society. He urged political parties to model professionalism, advocating for a standard of conduct that could inspire the wider public to protect the nation's shared aspirations. The Vice President's remarks followed a controversial incident during an anti-government demonstration organized by the Maldivian Democratic Party, MDP. The protests, which have persisted in Mali since 7th March, took a contentious turn on 12th March when a party member reportedly directed harmful language at the son of President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu. Reacting to the allegations leveled during the demonstration, President Dr. Muizzu's family categorically denied the claims and condemned the verbal attack on their son, Umar Mohamed Muizzu. In a statement, the family expressed their dismay at what they described as baseless accusations and the use of abusive language against a minor. Speaker of Parliament Abdul Rahim Abdullah also weighed in, strongly condemning the incident. In a social media post, he urged authorities to investigate the matter thoroughly and impose the maximum legal penalties on those found guilty of exploiting children for political purposes. The speaker described the MDP's actions as a violation of a child's rights rooted in political hostility and personal vendettas. He further criticized the Elections Commission of Maldives, ECM, for what he perceived as lack of decisive action, calling on the commission to take preventative measures. The ECM, in its response, issued a statement reminding political parties of their obligations under the Political Parties Act and the Constitution. It also called on MDP to ensure that all political activities adhere strictly to these legal frameworks. The Human Rights Commission of the Maldives, HRCM, joined the chorus of criticism condemning the use of harmful language directed at a child. The Commission also stressed that such actions fall outside the bounds of freedom of expression and underscored the constitutional and legal safeguards protecting children's dignity and honor. The incident has sparked widespread outrage.
Ahmad Saravash Adam and Abdul Majid Ali, representing the private sector, have been appointed to the board of directors of the Maldives Pension Administration Office. Adam, a graduate in economics and accounting, has previously served as chairman of the Maldives Inland Revenue Authority and as a member of the Maldives Monetary Authority Board. Most recently, he served as chief financial budget executive at the Ministry of Finance. Ali, a banking and finance graduate, contributed to the pension office's initiatives in 2020 and served as a board member of the Capital Market Development Authority. The new appointees are expected to strengthen the 7-member board under the leadership of Chairperson Ahmed Inaz, a former finance minister. Cricket Board of Maldives and South Asian Network exchanges an agreement to collaborate on the development of Fuvahmulah Cricket Ground and to host an international cricket league in the Maldives.
The MOU was signed by the president of CBM, Muhammad Faisal, and the founder of SAN, Rohit Hashim, during the cricket evening ceremony held at the Ghiasuddin International School Hall last week. Speaking to PSM News, Rohit mentioned that this agreement is a turning point for Maldives cricket. In addition, he also said that the very first international cricket stadium in the Maldives is coming up in Formula City, and in another 6 to 7 months, Maldives will witness its first ever international cricket league. Rohit expressed his gratitude to the Maldives government, particularly to the Sports Ministry and Maldives Cricket Board for supporting their initiative. Speaking about the future of Maldives cricket, he noted that to his surprise, Maldives has great youth cricketers as well as female cricketers, adding that when an international approach comes, they can rise to international cricket. SAN will be working to upgrade Formula Cricket Ground to international standards with installing a modern light system and bringing additional changes which will enable it to host matches during the evening. Cricket Board of Maldives is hoping to bring an international cricket league in 2026 where 6 countries will be participating.
U.S. stocks rebounds as investors hunted for bargains at the end of a tumultuous week in which U.S. President Donald Trump's escalating trade war fueled recession fears and doused risk appetite. A broad rally boosted all 3 major U.S. stock indexes to solid gains, with recently battered tech-related megacaps enjoying a comeback. Every one of the so-called Magnificent 7 artificial intelligence-related momentum stocks advanced, although 6 of them remained down on the year. Even with Friday's bounce, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq notched their 4th straight weekly losses. The Dow also posted a Friday-to-Friday dip.
The stocks are up today. I think that in part it's a relief rally. There haven't been any tariff headlines so far. I think secondarily, the consumer confidence number coincidentally came in. It was weak. And I think the market kind of wanted some kind of weakness because that may be the impetus for the Fed to make a move at some point.
Encouraging inflation data on March 12th and March 13th was overshadowed this week by mounting uncertainties arising from Trump's frequently shifting policies, including tariff threats against the biggest U.S. trading partners. Those anxieties were laid bare by a dire report from the University of Michigan, which showed consumer sentiment plummeting to its most pessimistic level in nearly 2 years and one-year inflation expectations spiking to 4.9%.
That consumer confidence number was really impactful, and we've seen moves across the markets, both stocks and bonds. And so one of the big things is that not only was the current number low, but the expectations number was low, and the inflation expectations number was completely wild. There was a huge partisan split between inflation expectations between Democrats and Republicans, and we know that to be true just anecdotally, but it was amazing to see it in the number today.
The report echoes other recent downbeat survey data, including a Reuters poll of Americans conducted March 11 to 12 that showed 57% of survey participants believe Trump's policies will do more harm than good. The S&P 500 gained 117.42 points, or 2.13%, to end at 5,638.94 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 451.07 points, or 2.61%, to 17,754.09. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 674.62 points, or 1.65%, to 41,488.19. Pakistan's military spokesperson says the death toll in a train hijacking in the country's southwestern mountains had risen to 31, and he repeated accusations that neighboring India and Afghanistan backed the militants who carried it out. The separatist Baloch Liberation Army has claimed responsibility for hijacking the Jafar Express. During the attack, they blew up train tracks and held passengers hostage in a day-long standoff with security forces in a remote mountain pass in Balochistan province.
So these are the count of the division of this 26. Other than that, we had operational casualties, which were not part of the train. As I said earlier, there were 3 FC soldiers who embraced Shahadas once their picket was attacked. And 1 FC soldier of Ghazaband Scout embraced Shahadat on the morning of 12th. Once they took the shot, they sniped at these terrorists. And because of that, the opportunity was given for the innocent passengers, part of them who managed to get away. So in the retaliatory fire, one of our FC soldier of Ghazaband Scouts, he embraced Shahadat. And 1 FC soldier who was part of the duty on this train, he also embraced Shahadat. So we have so far 5 operational casualties.
Islamabad has long accused New Delhi and Kabul of providing money, resources, weapons and training grounds to the insurgents in Balochistan province, which borders Afghanistan and Iran. Both countries have already denied the accusations, saying that the insurgency is Islamabad's internal problem. Chaudhry said a final count of the casualties included 18 soldiers, 3 railway employees and 5 civilians among the passengers who were held hostages by the insurgents for over 24 hours. According to him, another 5 soldiers lost their lives during the rescue operation that killed 33 of the insurgents. He said that a total of 354 hostages were rescued. The insurgents have said they still held hostages, but Chaudhry said there was no evidence to suggest this was the case, and the military has said the siege has ended. The BLA is the largest and strongest of several ethnic Baloch insurgent groups which have been fighting for decades to win independence for the mineral-rich province, home to major China-led projects such as a port and gold and copper mines. El Salvador's Defense Minister Reine Merino Monroy announced on Friday, March 14th, the seizure of 1.5 metric tons of cocaine made last week by the Salvadoran Navy.
Authorities reported that a vessel was intercepted on March 4th with the drugs valued at $37.5 million at 600 nautical miles, 1,111 kilometers southwest of Bocana El Cordoncillo, Estero de Yaltepec, and the arrest of 3 individuals. Video released by the El Salvadorian presidency showed authorities laying out the seized drugs at a port in La Union while Monroy and Justice Minister Gustavo Villatoro made inspections. Since March 2024, El Salvador has seized 25.9 tons of cocaine valued at $647.7 million, according to a statement from the authorities.
A German runner traverses 850 kilometers or 520 miles of harsh conditions through the Saharan desert in an effort to raise awareness on global climate change and water availability. After completing the 150-kilometer or 93-mile Trans-Saharan Marathon in February, adventurer Tanya Brown set out for an additional 700-kilometer or 435-mile solo run through the Moroccan Sahara. The Heidelberg native started her daunting trek on February 25th from Erg Chigaga, southwest of Zagora, to Erg Chibbi near Merzouga, on a route organizers said totaled 700 kilometers in effort to put a spotlight on climate change and a need for responsible water use. Organizers said Brown ran for 8 to 10 hours per day as she battled extreme heat and severe temperature swings in addition to 3 sandstorms before completing the route 2 weeks later when she reached her final destination on March 11. Brown reported consuming from 5,000 to 6,000 calories per day while drowning 6 to 8 liters or 1.6 to 2.1 gallons of water daily as she trudged through the desert. The extreme athlete says she is already eyeing her next challenge with the desert expedition through Jordan on the next horizon. Spring arrives in Mexico City with the blossoming of thousands of jacaranda flowers that have added a stunning purple hue to the Mexican capital's landscape, drawing the admiration of residents and tourists alike, while also attracting birds, bees, and butterflies.
The spectacle of blooming jacarandas often makes headlines and fills social media feeds with breathtaking images of the city. Originally native to South America, the jacaranda tree was introduced to Mexico in the 1920s. Enthralled by the Japanese cherry trees that cover the U.S. capital Washington, D.C. in pink and white every spring, then Mexican President Pascual Ortiz, 1930 to 1932, set out to replicate the same landscape in his nation's capital. But Tatsugoro Matsumoto, a Japanese landscape architect who settled in Mexico in the late 19th century, told him they would not survive the city's temperature climate for long. So he advocated for jacarandas, a tropical tree he had learned about during his brief stay in Peru.
That's all the news we have for today. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant day ahead.
ಬರಕಾತೆರೆ ರಮಲಾನ್ ಮಹುಗೆ ಹೇ ಯಜಮಾತ ಹುನಿಯಾ ಟಿವಿ ಬಲ್ಲವಾ ಲೋಬಿತ್ ರೈತುನಂ ಅರಿಸ್ಕುರಂ